Among cholesterol-lowering dietary supplements, red yeast rice extract, produced by a purplish-red mold, is one of the only things that have been shown to actually reduce the risk of cardiovascular events. Based on studies, including more than 10,000 patients, red yeast rice extract cut the risk of a subsequent heart attack in half, and significantly decreased not just sudden death, but premature death in general. No wonder, since it can decrease LDL cholesterol by an average of 36 points, comparable to what's seen with low doses of cholesterol-lowering statin drugs. That's because it is a statin drug. The mold produces lovastatin, the identical compound in the pill sold as Mevacor. In fact, that's how the drug was first produced, by having that exact mold make it. No wonder it's lowering cholesterol and saving lives. So are red yeast rice supplements suitable substitutes for statins? Unfortunately, no, since there's such a large variability in statin content, so predicting or understanding dose-related efficacy and safety is practically impossible. For example, this study on the variability and strength of red yeast rice supplements purchased from the mainstream retailers GNC, Walgreens, Walmart, and Whole Foods, researchers analyzed 28 brands of red yeast rice supplements, and the active ingredient lovastatin, also known as monocolin K, was not detected at all in 2 brands, and in the other 26 brands the quantity ranged more than 60-fold. Following the manufacturer's recommendations for daily servings, the quantity consumed per day would range more than 100-fold. In the United States, manufacturers don't list the amount, but in Europe, where they do, not a single supplement matched what it said on the label. 9 were lower, 24 were higher, and 3 basically had nothing. So in other words, buyer beware. An independent U.S. laboratory recently analyzed 10 popular red yeast rice products, and most didn't contain any. And those results were even worse than previous years. But wait, what's this about 30% being contaminated with a kidney toxin called citrinin, exceeding the allowable safety limit by 65-fold? The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has been warning consumers for years to avoid red yeast rice products because they contain kidney toxins, including citrinin, a type of mold toxin, which is considered toxic to the kidneys, liver, and fetus, found at high levels, contaminating up to 80% of red yeast rice products. Given that it's also classified as a DNA-damaging compound, Europe dropped the maximum amount permitted in food supplements down to 100 micrograms per kilogram. 37 red yeast rice supplements were screened. Guess how many exceeded the safety limit? 97%. 36 out of 37. Only a single product was compliant, and all of them contained the toxin, even though 4 of the products swore that they were quote-unquote citrinin-free. Liars! The bottom line is this toxin is almost always present and above safety levels. In Japan, there was an outbreak of serious kidney problems linked to red yeast rice supplements, causing hundreds of hospitalizations and 5 deaths, which is particularly alarming because the supplement company had evidently addressed the known citrinin concern by using a mold strain reportedly incapable of producing citrinin. Turns out the batch was contaminated by another type of mold that made a different kind of kidney toxin. So, as far as I'm concerned, if you want to take a statin drug, just take a statin drug. So by law, you know exactly how much you're getting, and you don't have to worry about mold toxin contamination issues. Modern medicine contains lots of examples of natural substances whose active ingredients were identified, isolated, studied, standardized, and regulated to create a product whose net benefits outweigh the harms. Without these steps, we're left relying on anecdotes, hearsay, and blind faith that a substance will have its desired effect.